So there's, 10 women and 2 men, and most have children. So it's a very like, from that perspective, like a very understanding environment to be in.
Well, we're definitely going to dive deeper into those department climate questions in just a minute.
Definitely.
We have two other questions. So a little bit of a spin, and how would your life be different if you did not have children?
I'd be living in Melbourne, which would have meant that I would have been in Melbourne for the like big Melbourne lockdown that was like 3 extra months of lockdown. So that would have been interesting. I think that is probably the biggest difference. Like, I think if I had not got pregnant, we would have moved to Melbourne, and I'd be doing a different job. We would have, I don't know if we would have rented this place out or what. Like, I don't know what my partner would have done, because he obviously has a career here. So we might be doing long distance. It would be like quite a complicated situation right now.
Wow. So
it's a very different answer, I know.
Everything works out for a reason though, right? You seem happy, so that's a good thing. So how do you think your experience during the pandemic might be different if you were going to be submitting your case for tenure, for promotion, at your uni?
I don't know, like that's a slightly tricky question, I guess, because it's just not something that I was in a position to be doing at that, like yet at that point, if that makes sense. So I certainly, I think if I hadn't have been pregnant and, if it had have been like a year later or something, then I guess some components of the pandemic probably would have helped strengthen my case, in that I was, I think doing pretty well with the online teaching, and, I think I had the biggest course that was therefore the hardest course to move online. And, as I said, the response to that was really positive. So, certainly from my head of school and my colleagues, there was a lot of recognition of that. And I think, I don't know, it's sort of difficult to say just because it's not sort of something that I was thinking about at that point.
And coupled with, you were planning on having maternity leave. Was that always in the cards?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. So
that was slightly tricky because I hadn't spoken to my head of school about the fact that I was planning to get pregnant. So in my head, I knew that was sort of something that was coming up, but I have still been, I was working as though that weren't going to be happening. So I was, I've been putting in grant applications and, sort of going through all of those processes and setting up, activities and events that I knew I probably wouldn't be able to go to and sort of things like that. So, we did have, there was a symposium that I'd organized, with some, overseas colleagues that was supposed to be happening at Portland, State University mid last year that, I already knew, because of the pregnancy, I wouldn't be able to go to, even though then COVID got in the way and then it actually shifted online, so I could do it. So in that respect, it was kind of better, although we obviously weren't able to hold the awesome symposium that we'd spent ages planning and got funding for and all of that. So we're still, hoping that we'll be able to do a version of that maybe at the end of this year. But I obviously won't be able to go because I'm just not going to be able to travel with the little one, I don't think. That'd be a long flight for the little one, that's for sure. Yeah, I just don't think I could do it. It's too long for me.
It is a very long flight. And so how about, can you talk about at all, was your research agenda impacted at all by the pandemic, and or was it maternity leave that it was impacted? Is it difficult to tease the two out?
Yeah, I think it is a little bit. So certainly the the symposium was like part of this sort of collaborative thing that I've been setting up with, one colleague who's based in the US and another colleague who's based in the UK. And so we'd met up, the previous year, sort of mid-year. And then the plan was that we would like sort of come together and hold this event. And then like, we'd like have an edited collection that would come out of it. And, like it was sort of like a fairly integral piece of like that, like collaborative journey. And so not being able to do that suddenly has meant that we haven't, like got the ball rolling with some of those publications, which is a bit frustrating, but like it just, I think when you want to do something that is like a collaborative, thing that involves, like sort of putting together all of the pieces of like different people's research and like kind of like working out, like where like the commonalities are that you can like base an interesting, like collection of essays around. Like it's so hard to do that when you can't catch up with people, when you can't sit in a room together and talk about it. And so there are certainly, like there's things like that. And, there's another conference that I convene, every November that, obviously didn't take place last November because of COVID again. And, like again, it's sort of, it's been the basis for a lot of, like collections of essays or like, collaborative pieces. And, it's a shared academic and industry, like publishing, conference. So, a lot of the independent publishers around Australia like come to that conference, and like so it's a good networking opportunity. And so sort of some of those, I think, like I guess I don't know, like if you'd call them like soft like opportunities or something like that they kind of haven't. I haven't been able to pursue them as much. So you can still, like sit at your desk and like write things, but like when a lot of the work that I've done has been things that I've done with people because I've spoken to them, and then we've gotten all excited about something, and then we've like gone away and like written something together, and then, planned something fun, and, like you don't have that energy and you don't have that partnership. And so like those things don't like kind of, like they don't naturally pop up in the same way.
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to switch gears a little bit into the department climate in your school. How would you describe the department climate with respect to parenthood and COVID-19?
With respect to parenthood, I'd describe it as fantastic. Our head of school, she's lovely. She's, like I'd say a mid-career academic with 3 children. She's like warm, supportive, like spent a lot of time while I was pregnant, like, asking me how I was feeling, like checking in regularly. So she's amazing. Sort of the people down my corridor, like the person, in the office next to me has like 2 small children, including one who like is at the daycare center that's just around the corner from my house. So, like I've, was talking to her about like daycare choices. I've had, after I had the baby, like I had people dropping around like casseroles and things, it's a very
that's wonderful. Do you think there's different expectations for like the mothers and fathers? I know you said there was only 2 males.
Yeah. So, one of my male colleagues has children, and I think, I don't think that there are different expectations placed on him. I know that, his partner is quite impressive, I think she like might be like a diplomat or something, and like has in many ways, I would say a more exciting career than he does. So if you were to, I don't know them super well, but I think if you were to look at their, parenting responsibilities, like he would probably be more in the parent role than she would be. I think, because it is such a female department, it's sort of hard to, to comment on whether there are different expectations. But I don't think that would be the case.
Did the